Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I hope you guys are doing very well. In this video, we're going to be talking about my problem with Manchester City. Before we get into that, I want to share some goodness. Share some good love. Spread some good love. Sounds naughty, but don't worry about it. Guys at Soccer Share, Nade and Connor have sent me these gorgeous socks. Look at this bit. I love this bit. Look at the flag on it. Lovely. Soccer Share, that's soccershare.co.uk. Have I got that right? Soccershare.co.uk. The guys there have sent me these, and these are amazing because the idea is that if you buy some socks or donate some money to Soccershare, what they will do is they will donate socks to underprivileged children, and working with sporting charities, make sure that they can wear their football boots and not damage their feet when they're playing football. Such a beautiful, kind idea. And the guys sent me a pair of socks, which I am massively thankful for, and they're paying it forward, so I want to pay it forward as well. So I haven't bought these. I need to buy a pair from Soccershare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy one of you lot a pair of socks from Soccershare. So usual drill, guys. You know how it works by now. If you want to get your hands or feet on a pair of these Soccershare socks and do some good for the world, then do a couple of things. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then get in the comments below and say the simple phrase, "I'll have one, Jim." It really is as simple as that. I will pick one of you guys at random and I will buy you a pair of these lovely socks. There you go. Pay it forward, do some good. It'll make you feel good as well. Right, let's get into this video where I talk about my problem with Manchester City. Now, the big problem that I've got with Manchester City is that I don't want them to win the league. I don't think many teams want them to win the league. They are incredibly dominant. There's no real excitement in that. And that's just a normal, visceral idea. But what needs to be done is we need to give this Manchester City some credit. And I was thinking about it last night. I was thinking, what is it that's got this Manchester City team purring? Because when I was looking at the teams yesterday, that Liverpool team has 7 players that have played over 80% of the season. So you can talk about all these excuses, and every team seems to have all these excuses at the moment, not being ready, blah, blah, blah. But look at this Man City team, because when you look at this Manchester City team, it's incredible, really, because in that team that were played yesterday that beat Liverpool 4-1, and look, I did a match reaction on that game, and so go check that out to get my thoughts on that game, because I don't think it was, it was closer than a 4-1, but of course some individual mistakes made a big difference, so go check that out. But in this game, I looked at the lineups here, and look at these players that aren't involved. Gabriel Jesus, not involved. Kyle Walker, not involved in that game. Emerick Laporte, not involved in that game. Kevin De Bruyne, not involved in that game, and Sergio Aguero not involved in this game. And for quite a lot of these games recently, the likes of Aguero and De Bruyne and Laporte have not been involved in any way, shape or form. So how and why is that happening? And how and why are Man City doing as well as they are? And then it hit me when I was reading again. Check this out. I was reading and this word popped into my head and it made me look at this squad, and I'll dive into it in a second. Allcott is a spiritual teacher. He was talking about enthusiasm. And he says, with enthusiasm, you find that you don't have to do it all yourself. In fact, there is nothing of significance you can do by yourself. Sustained enthusiasm, this is a bit I thought was interesting. Sustained enthusiasm brings into existence a wave of creative energy. And all you have to do then is ride the wave. All you have to do is ride the wave. And when I thought about that riding of the wave, I thought about Liverpool first, to be honest. I thought about last season, that connectedness that they had as a group of players, that purpose of getting that title, that purpose of stopping Man City. Man City were still, all right last season, but they didn't have that same kind of purpose. They didn't have that same kind of enthusiasm. So then when I go back to this team and I think, what's going on here? You haven't got any of these top players that have been so integral to Man City for so many years, and you're still winning 10 games on the trot, and you're still only conceding 3 goals in that time. It's absolutely incredible. So I come back to that idea. I think it has to be about enthusiasm, but not just enthusiasm. Enthusiasm and opportunity. And not just enthusiasm and opportunity. When I really think about it, I think often we all have a lot of enthusiasm for different things in life. And we sometimes get that opportunity, but we're sometimes not ready for that opportunity. You've still got a very young team here in Man City. A lot of young players. still making their way, still haven't hit their peak years as of yet. But what Guardiola has done and deserves massive credit for, massive credit for, is giving certain players an opportunity and sticking with them. And not bending to the will of bigger players. Now, of course, injuries play a part in all of this. But let's look at this. Who has he given an opportunity this season? John Stones. Out in the cold, wasn't he? Let's put yourself back to that mindset of earlier in the season. Would John Stones be anywhere near the starting 11? Absolutely not. I did a squad tier list for England. He wasn't even in it. Ruben Dias comes in. Opportunity. He's got the enthusiasm to come and be that new leader of this team. But at the same time, he's also a bloody good player. So he's ready for the opportunity. Now, this isn't something that can all be put down to Guardiola. Because sometimes you just get a little bit of luck with all of this. And I'll talk about luck in a second. But that enthusiasm that leads to a lack of fear, and that leads to that easy sense of creative energy that I was just talking about there, I think there's no bigger example than Ilkay Gundogan. Because this is a player who's had to be selfless throughout his Man City career and kind of fit in around the likes of David Silva or Kevin De Bruyne or whoever it was, right? But he has now become an important part of this team. Given the opportunity, he has the enthusiasm, he has the experience, he's ready to go. And that's why you're seeing so many more goals from him. Cancelo. Let's get rid of that one. Cancelo. Another one. How many problems have you had with the right back situation? But he's found a way. This one's slightly different because he's found a way to get the best out of him in this team and allow the team to then be better as well. And he's fit it perfectly. But again, a player who's not one of those big names, but has become a big name in this team. And of course, we've got to talk about Phil Foden. Phil Foden is a player that everyone's been screaming about for a long time. Can he play? Why isn't he playing? He's ready. Maybe we were all wrong. Maybe Guardiola was the one that is right. Because, again, I think he's kind of slowly moving forward. But again, I don't think he gets the opportunity to step up if all of these players are playing regularly. Or maybe not to the same level of responsibility that he's now got. Because if you look at this squad here, I think it just really highlights a lot of players that you wouldn't expect to be, key to the squad depth this season. Like Walker, is still a fantastic player, but the use of Cancelo on both sides, same goes for Foden in terms of the use of him in a range of roles this year, but giving him the minutes, giving him the opportunity. And I think almost as a collective team now, they look at each other and go, we can do this. We're good enough to do this. Now, all of that sounds really like a bit trite almost, right? Because you need a little bit of luck along the way. And I think what has happened here with Man City is that sometimes you just need to get a bit of a foothold in a season. And so if we look at the results this season, there really was that as well. There was a bit, and I think the big moment for me personally, I thought it was the Burnley game actually. I thought the Burnley game when they won 5-0 against them, it was exactly what they needed after the Spurs defeat. And the draw against Liverpool and just that general struggle at the start of the season. If you look at those previous games before that as well, the likes of West Ham who've gone on to have a very, very good season and have stopped a lot of good opponents this season. Arsenal, obviously, never an easy game, but they won that one. And Leeds United, who on their day can do anything against anyone. Leicester, who are in the top 4 as well. So tough games at the start of this season, right? But they almost kind of were able to kind of go, don't forget that we are a really, really good team. I also think a big part of this is this controlled possession that Man City play to a higher level than any other team. And that control in terms of an attacking point of view is huge in this. But getting that platform and that foothold, it leads to confidence, it leads to commitment to what you're doing, and then it leads to even more enthusiasm. Because I think for a long period of the season, these Man City players were probably looking around and looking to Kevin De Bruyne a lot of the time and going, get us out of trouble. I think we all saw that over-reliance on him earlier in this season. But him kind of popping out along with, just like I say, a really lovely run of games. Fulham, Man United, fair enough. And I think they just came for a draw in that game, if we remember, and that blip against West Brom. But since then, the building blocks were starting to build. And then Southampton, Newcastle. I mean, the Chelsea game, to be fair, that's a difficult one, isn't it? But then playing Brighton, a lot of teams where they were able to kind of slowly build the confidence. So it never is one thing. But now, once you get to this point, I think in the middle of that run, you've then got a team that has the quality, has the kind of purity of coaching, for want of a better word, from Guardiola, in a season where actually I think that in previous seasons, that energy that these gegenpressing teams can offer has been too much, in particular for Liverpool. But in a season like this, where there's so many aspects at play psychologically for all of these players, no fans on the pitch and things like that, a team with controlled possession, I think, will come to the fore more and more as the games go on and the season goes on. And that's what I sort of said at the start of the season, which it looked like I was going to be wrong, but now it seems to be coming back through, not because I'm right, just because it seems to have worked out that way, is that kind of that controlled possession that Guardiola's put together in this team over years and years, despite having to transition the team. Sometimes when you have to transition the team, you don't have players that are ready. But in this Manchester City team, you've got a team that, yes, you've got a lot of youngsters coming through, but you've also got a lot of players that feel that they are competent and ready to take it all up, right? And to start to win a league themselves. And to be honest, for Gundogan, is an opportunity that the biggest problem that could come Man City's way in the next couple of weeks is that De Bruyne comes back in and some of these bigger players come back in, and Gundogan's got to kind of behave himself again, because the sum of the parts, for the first time I think in Man City's career, or certainly under Guardiola, it's actually the sum of the parts that are sort of taking Man City to this next level. And the very smart move by Guardiola to continue to dominate possession, but have someone like Cancelo to come and play this DM at different times. Walker can do it as well. But that allowing Gundogan to make those late runs, often, of course, it is Gabriel Jesus instead of Foden as that centre forward, but to allow Gundogan, who is, I think he is the clear message of this whole team, that the quality was always there, but was the mindset there? And sometimes when you take out big players, the others can't pull up the slack. But that he's been able to do it, as has Raheem Sterling and all those players. And then you add that all together with a mix of getting a little bit of confidence in you and continuing to control football matches. And it's got Man City to the edge of what is going to be, I believe, quite a comfortable title run between now and the end of the season. That game against Liverpool, there needed to be a stopping of the momentum here, and now it's not going to happen. And I think they will just go from strength to strength because they have that connectivity, they have that enthusiasm, and they have that purpose. Players that really shouldn't be anywhere near the starting 11 at the start of the season, really. I mean, maybe that's a little bit too harsh. I mean, maybe I'm looking at John Stones when I think about that. But it's an incredible story, and Guardiola deserves massive credit for that. We've got to remember, these guys are human. Like, often we look at football and we go, well, you cost this, you cost that, you're on this, you're on that. But in this team, in a season where everyone's got an excuse, Man City have pulled themselves up, dominated football games, and without possibly 5 of their best players, are on the road to winning the title. My problem with it is that this isn't a good, interesting story. But I think if you look deep enough, that I think you can give some credit to Man City at this moment in time, because there's a lot of players that, as I said, were not the main men for this football club. So there you have it. As ever, Jimbo thoughts in his head, looking at teams, thinking about it, and just splurging it onto a video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with that idea of the enthusiasm of this squad, the kind of concoction and chemistry of different teams being important to a title charge? And what's different about Man City this season, and how they've been able to kind of recover from having players out, key men out, whereas other teams have struggled? Let me know in the comments below. As I said at the start of the video, let's support the guys at Soccer Share. I want to buy one of you guys a pair of these socks. So simple. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, get in the comments and say, I'll have one, Jim, and I'll pick one. I hope you guys are all good. Have an amazing week, weekend, day, evening, whenever you're watching this video, and I'll see you next time.